Ethan Walker was the golden boy of Silicon Valley. At just 33, he had built Walker Tech from his college dorm into a tech empire. People whispered his name in boardrooms, begged for investment from him, studied his quotes on LinkedIn like gospel. He had the houses, the exotic cars, the jet. A life that looked perfect on paper. But mirrors tell the truth. Every night, when the lights were off and the glass reflected only a faint silhouette, Ethan would stare at his own eyes.
Brown. Wide.
Too wide to have come from Hank and Carol Walker, his adoptive parents. His skin tone was paler than his mother's, but his jawline didn't match his father's. And the eyes, they held a sadness that profit margins or quarterly losses couldn't explain. He had always known he was adopted. Carol had told him in gentle words when he was just 7 years old. "We picked you because we loved you," she'd said, brushing his hair back with trembling hands. But Hank, a retired Navy officer with a strict moral compass and little patience for emotions, had been less poetic. "She gave you up." Simple as that. Ethan had never dared ask more. Until Hank died. Hank's death came swiftly, a massive stroke that took him in his sleep. It was Ethan who flew back to Portland to handle the estate. Carol, now fragile and worn, had moved into assisted living. The family home felt like a museum of silence and old secrets. In the attic, Ethan found the clock. It was a tall, oak grandfather clock that hadn't worked in years. He wasn't sure why he bothered opening the rear panel, but he did. A thin envelope slid out, so old it crackled in his fingers. Inside was a faded Polaroid, a legal document, and a single folded letter. The photograph made his hands tremble. A young black woman, dreadlocked, in a hospital gown, cradling a pale-skinned newborn. Her eyes were wide, tired, but unmistakably familiar. His eyes. Scrawled on the back, Monica Price. 1991, Atlanta General Hospital. The letter was brutally clinical. Ms. Monica Price relinquishes all parental rights due to medical and economic hardship following a house fire and death of her partner. Child placed with the Walker family through sealed adoption. No future contact permitted. Ethan read the line 3 times. A house fire? A dead partner? No contact permitted? And then, in a whisper, "Mom, what happened to you?" Most people would have left it there. Ethan had every reason to move on, a billion-dollar business, speaking gigs, awards, attention. But something in his soul burned too hot. He hired private investigators, dug through old hospital logs, traced employment records. But Monica Price might as well have been a ghost. No obituary, no DMV records, no tax filings. Every dead end made the hunger worse. His closest friends told him to stop. "You're not going to fill the hole," one said. "Some questions are better left unanswered," another warned. But every night, the Polaroid stared back at him from his nightstand. Her eyes seemed to whisper, "Find me." On a gray November morning, Ethan was in Chicago for a tech conference. He was scheduled to speak at a hotel ballroom downtown, but after the event, he needed air. "Take me through the old neighborhoods," he told his driver. The car rolled slowly through the South Side. Broken sidewalks, boarded storefronts, men huddled over trash and fires. And then a red light. At the corner of Ashland and 49th, a woman sat beneath a stop sign. Her coat was made of mismatched patches. Her gloves had holes in every finger. A cardboard sign rested on her lap. "Homeless. Heart patient. Anything helps. God bless." Ethan almost looked away. But the eyes. He leaned forward. Time stopped. His heart began to thunder. Without a word, he threw open the car door. "Sir?" the driver called. But Ethan was already on the sidewalk. The woman flinched as he approached. Her cheeks were sunken, her skin weathered. But her eyes, God, those eyes. "Ma'am," Ethan began, voice trembling. "Is your name Monica?" "Monica Price." She blinked. A step back. Defensive. "Who wants to know?" "My name is Ethan," he said. He reached into his coat, pulling out the photo. I think I'm your son." Monica stared at the photo. Her hands rose to her mouth. "They told me you died in that fire," she whispered. "I held you. They said you didn't make it. They told me you gave me away." A tear slid down her cheek. Then another. She sank to the pavement, the sign fluttering to the ground. "I buried an empty casket," she whispered. "I lit candles every year for you. I prayed for your soul." Ethan knelt beside her, his hand brushing hers. "And I looked for you. For years." They wept in the street, two lives fractured by a lie. She hadn't eaten in days. Her heart condition had worsened. But Ethan didn't leave her side. Within hours, she was checked into a private hospital. Doctors, nurses, therapists. Monica Price, a woman forgotten by the world, was suddenly surrounded by care. He flew her to Napa after her recovery. The mansion was foreign to her. "This ain't real," she muttered, the first time she stepped into the sunroom. "It is," Ethan said, "and it's yours." Every night, they sat by the fire. Monica told stories about his father, a jazz guitarist who died saving her in the fire. She told him how she used to sing to him in the hospital, how she'd named him Miles, not Ethan. One evening, she handed him a box. Inside, a charred baby sock, a cracked music box, and a hospital bracelet. "You were never forgotten," she said. "Even when I thought you were gone, you were in every prayer." 6 months later, Ethan sat in front of a national TV host. The world wanted to know what the billionaire genius was working on next. "Honestly," he said, eyes turning toward the backstage curtain, "my proudest moment wasn't building a company. It was finding my mother." The host looked surprised. "And what would you say to the people watching who feel like something is missing in their life?" Ethan smiled. "Don't stop searching. The truth has a heartbeat, and it never dies." The curtain parted. Monica walked onto the stage to a standing ovation. Her red dress shimmered under the lights, but her smile was brighter.